Hi everyone, welcome to the MSPA series of Mystery Shopping Industry Experts. Today we've got the privilege of having with us Andy Firth, who is going to be our future president. Who is Andy? Andy is the head of Insights and Analytics at Ipsos UK. He graduated in 1998 from the University of Sheffield, and he started by working the first 9 years on the research side of business, taking care and learning and delivering services on customer satisfaction, market measurement, U&A, quality research, and many other things. And then in 2007, he moved on to mystery shopping. And as head of analytics and insights, Andy oversees a large teams of analytic colleagues who really what they do is deliver the true impact to their clients through actionable insights and through high-end analytics. And in his free time, Andy is a rugby coach, so he likes to also to teach rugby. You can see him on rugby fields a lot, and to socialize. Andy, a very warm welcome to our session.
Thank you. Thanks, Louis. Great to be here.
We're all curious. Let's begin with that. How did you get into mystery shopping? How did it all start after you graduated, Ipsos, and tell us a bit about that.
Well, I graduated in history, and there's not necessarily a lot of obvious pathways for a history graduate other than maybe becoming a history teacher, which I didn't really fancy. So after university, I moved back to my hometown of Newcastle, which is in the north. But I always had my sights set on moving to London, really. So I started applying for lots of graduate jobs. And a job in market research really caught my eye, because even though I did history, it was always the kind of social side of history that I really enjoyed, and understanding, people and the big people movements. So I applied for a graduate role at a big research agency, which was then called NOP, and was lucky enough to get the job. And I started off, as you said, in the research side in financial services. The NOP at the time was split, the divisions were split by sector, and I started working in financial services, doing all kinds of research, as you said, from CSAT, U&A type studies, qual, quant, and I really got my grounding on the research side. And then in about 2007, or slightly before that, I got talking to our head of mystery shopping at NOP, who was based in Oxford. Firstly, found out that he actually came from my hometown of Whitley Bay near Newcastle, which is a small town. So that immediately got me interested. And he started describing to me what mystery shopping was. I mean, I'd never really heard of it. But NOP, which had been bought by GfK by then, was one of the biggest, certainly in the UK, global companies in mystery shopping. And he just said, why don't you come over to Oxford for a year or two, see what you think? We think there's a gap in the UK market in terms of financial mystery shopping. We want you to come and do some business development and try and grow it. And I thought, well, maybe a time for a change. What I really liked about mystery shopping was the impact I thought it could have, real actionable impact it can have on organizations who were mostly working with banks at the time. And I said, why not? I thought I might be going back to London a couple of years later, but that was 18 years ago, and I'm still in Oxford, and I'm still doing mystery shopping, although now it's for Ipsos, who bought GfK, who had bought my original company of NOP. So without really leaving, I've kind of changed companies a couple of times, but that's the background, really.
Great journey, and really very, very interesting how everything started, and you telling us the history of as a history graduate, and it's a really nice storytelling to hear how your career evolved. And also Ipsos is one of the largest operators in mystery shopping in the world, really operating globally. You've got access to really a lot of data and information. From when you started to the current moment, how have things evolved in our industry, and what are the challenges and opportunities that you are seeing now?
The technology has certainly evolved. It wasn't long before I joined that teams were still sending questionnaires out on paper, and you were using kind of face-to-face interviewers that were employed by GfK at the time. Of course, that all changed with self-employed independent contractors, the rollout of online, then of course the rollout of apps. So that was a big change technologically. We were working for a lot of sectors there, but I think that reach has expanded out. So I've seen at Ipsos moving into more and more different sectors, and virtually every sector you can think of, at least where there's a human and a customer and employee interaction, we've expanded into. And also, I think the way we kind of look at the data and think about impact and how we can link it to business outcomes. I can remember when customer satisfaction surveys first started coming around, 20 odd years ago, and that kind of morphed into customer experience. And I kind of felt that mystery shopping, got a bit taken up with customer experience and kind of thinking that actually it was a customer experience measure, where what I'm really keen on doing is say actually mystery shopping is its own standalone important methodology that does some things that no other method can do, and focus on things like sales, on product recommendation, on compliance, which is something that you would never use a kind of VOC, voice of customer survey for. So I think that's evolved, and certainly that's how we look at things. So yeah, tech expansion into other sectors and really thinking about the USPs and impact that mystery shopping can deliver. And you asked me about the future, didn't you?
Yes, you've got so much to share with us. We want to know everything about what we can expect for the future.
Well, my first thing was tech, so you know what I'm going to say, and that is, of course, AI. I mean, no one can ignore it. And at Ipsos, we have our own AI process, if you like, called Ipsos Facto, which is built up of lots of other ChatGPT type models. So we use that in our everyday life, and we're seeing more and more of it used within mystery shopping, certainly for things like allocation and validation and the operational side of things. I'm a bit scared about how far it can go on the analysis side of things, because it is going that way. From my point of view, I always think you are going to need a human being to look at the data and understand what it means from the perspective of a human being. AI can pump out all this data and say this and that, but I think you always need a human there to say, well, does that actually make sense? So I think that will continue to grow. I think our industry might be, continue to be slightly polarized. I think at one end, the kind of big qualitative mystery shopping programs that giving you lots of data and you can do lots of analysis with them and really prove impact and value. And then at the other end, maybe the kind of quicker, slightly cheaper type programs that are maybe a bit more audity, where the shopper doesn't necessarily have to have a detailed conversation with a human being, but these are really important things like where was the product, what was the price of it, what was the POS, maybe even what you were recommended, but not to the same depth as the big mystery shopping programs. So I kind of see it splitting into two, which are both equally valuable, but I think companies just need to know how to use that data as best they can.
Like always, focus all in benefit of our clients and of our clients, colleagues, and it reminds me of some time ago you pointed that out where Mr. Shopping, there was a trend to follow CX, and even some colleagues considered, shall we evolve into a CX agent, Mr. Shopping association, and not CX association, and not stay as a Mr. Shopping association. But I think luckily, and also it was intelligent to stick to Mr. Shopping, because it's like you say, it's on its own standalone solution that's got its own advantages and covers every single business area, and with many options.
Yeah, absolutely. And at Ipsos we have, I think it's 19 different service lines, different divisions that focus on different types of research and different sectors. We have a huge customer experience division, and probably one of the biggest in the world, and the work they do is absolutely vital. But Mystery Shopping division, it's actually called Channel Performance. We are a separate service line, and whilst we work with our CX colleagues a lot, we do tend to focus on the things that are unique to Mystery Shopping, and I still think it is the assessment of how employees and processes perform. That isn't CX. That is, how are those employees behaving? Are they doing what they've been asked to do? And if they are doing that, what is the business outcome of that? Be it better compliance, higher sales, better product recommendation, better service standards. But it's looking at it through a slightly different lens, and that's really where we come from.
Thanks for sharing that, Andy. And now we're just a few days away from our yearly conference. There's always people gathering from all over the world. And I'd like to ask you, as our incoming president of Mr. Shopping Association Europe Africa, leading a board of 15, it's going to be very exciting 2 years for you. What are your expectations for this conference?
Well, it's one of my favorite weeks of the year, so I'm always looking forward to it. And being president is a big thing for me. I remember my first conference in 2012 in Barcelona with Chris White, who was the person that employed me at the first place, and I thought, this is great. I mean, I loved the content, but I loved getting together with colleagues, a lot of whom you might say are competitors, but the MSPA, our competitors, to me, are also our colleagues and friends. And it's about growing the industry reach and relevance as much as anything, which is one of the themes of this conference. So the big themes for the conference are reach and relevance, which is really important. Return, which to me, again, is the importance of proving value to our customers, showing them impact. And I think if we do that, we will extend our reach and we will be relevant. And wrapped up in that is how resilient our members can be. And, I'm delighted to say that we've still got, nearly 200 members in Europe, Africa, which when I say that to people who don't know about Mystery Shopping, they can't believe that there are that many members. So to me, it still shows how resilient our industry is. And I think it's going to be a great conference. There's some amazing papers, and we're going to continue with those themes and hopefully continue to see the industry grow and therefore everyone else grow.
Super. Very exciting times coming ahead. Absolutely. Andy, thank you very much for your time today. And let's continue over the next 2 years, your term, working all together in benefit of our industry. And also a word to the members that are visiting the conference. Our motto is connect, learn, and share. So just let's do that. Even if your parents told you not to talk to strangers, on that day, take the initiative and get to know colleagues you'll find on the other side. Colleagues wanting to share and to connect and to really, you will take home many good things. So, and please stay tuned for another upcoming episode with another guest expert in our industry. And for now, bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye,
Bye.
Andy. Bye-bye.